Before becoming one of the most successful authors in history, J.K. Rowling lived a life of hardship and despair that few could imagine. Today, she is known as the creator of Harry Potter, a franchise worth billions of dollars. But before all the fame and fortune, Rowling was a struggling single mother, living in poverty and battling depression. She once said she was as poor as it is possible to be in modern Britain without being homeless. Her story is not just about magic and imagination. It's about resilience, financial discipline, and the ability to turn rock bottom into a launching pad for greatness. Hidden inside her journey are financial secrets and life lessons that can transform the way you see money, success, and failure. Let's rewind. Joanne Rowling was born in 1965 in a small town in England. From a very young age, she loved stories. She would tell imaginative tales to her younger sister, filling her head with magical adventures. She dreamed of being a writer. One day, but like many dreams, it seemed unrealistic and impractical. As she grew older, life became more complicated. After studying French and classics at university, she moved to Portugal, where she worked as a teacher. There, she married and gave birth to her daughter, Jessica. But the marriage quickly fell apart, leaving her a single mother with little money and nowhere to turn. She returned to the United Kingdom in the early 1990s, carrying her daughter, a suitcase, and the unfinished manuscript of a story about a young boy who discovers he is a wizard. At this time, Rowling's life hit rock bottom. She lived on government welfare checks that barely covered food and rent. Her apartment was often cold because she couldn't afford heating. She suffered from depression so severe that she later admitted to having suicidal thoughts. Society would have easily written her off as another failure. But in the middle of this darkness, Rowling clung to one thing: writing. She would take her daughter to a local cafe, order a single cup of coffee, and sit there for hours, writing on scraps of paper. That cafe became her office, and on those pieces of paper, she created the world of Hogwarts, the story of Harry Potter, and the beginning of a global empire. But finishing the manuscript was only the beginning. When she tried to publish it, rejection after rejection came pouring in. 12 publishers turned her down. Some said the story was too long. Others believed fantasy novels for children would never sell. One even told her to get a real job because children's books don't make money. Imagine the pain of hearing that when you're broke, raising a child alone, and clinging to the only dream you have left. Most people would have quit, but Rowling didn't. She sent her manuscript one more time, and on her 13th attempt, a small publisher named Bloomsbury said yes. The decision was made not by a boardroom of executives, but by the CEO's 8-year-old daughter, who read the first chapter and begged to know what happened next. That small voice changed history. The first print run in 1997 was only 500 copies, but within weeks, it became clear that something extraordinary was happening. Children were devouring the book. Parents were amazed to see their kids obsessed with reading. Teachers saw reluctant students finally excited about literature. The story of Harry Potter had struck a nerve, and with each passing month, the phenomenon grew. Within a year, the book reached the United States. Scholastic, the American publisher, paid over $100,000 for the rights, an unheard-of sum at the time for a debut children's author. For Rowling, that money meant survival, but it was only the beginning. Sequels followed, each one bigger than the last. Harry Potter became a household name, and Rowling went from being a welfare recipient to a millionaire. Now, here's where the financial secret lies. Success often destroys people. When money comes quickly, most waste it. They buy luxury cars, massive houses, designer clothes, and chase status symbols. Many lottery winners and celebrities lose, everything within years. But Rowling was different. She understood the importance of building something bigger than herself. She didn't stop with books. She licensed Harry Potter into films, merchandise, and theme parks. Warner Brothers bought the movie rights. turning her stories into one of the most successful film franchises in history. Toys, video games, and clothing lines spread her creation into every corner of the world. She earned royalties from every product, every ticket sold, every spin-off. That's the power of intellectual property. Once you create something valuable, it can pay you again and again without you working more hours. Rowling turned an idea scribbled on scraps of paper into a licensing empire worth billions. Let's put this into perspective. The Harry Potter franchise today is estimated to be worth over $25 billion. That makes it more valuable than most Fortune 500 companies. Rowling herself has earned more than $1 billion from her work, making her one of the richest authors in history. Compare that to most writers, who often struggle to sell even a few thousand copies of their books. But here's something even more remarkable. Rowling gave away so much of her fortune to charity, over $160 million, that she actually dropped off the Forbes billionaire list. Think about that. She is one of the only people in history to lose billionaire status, not because of poor financial decisions, but because of generosity. She built immense wealth and then used it to make a difference in the world. Her story teaches us three powerful financial lessons. First, discipline matters more than circumstances. Rowling wrote even when life was unbearable, even when the world said no. Discipline created opportunity. Second, diversification creates empires. She didn't rely on book sales alone. She expanded into films, merchandise, and experiences. Third, purpose multiplies wealth. True wealth is not measured only by what you keep, but by what you give. But let's take this deeper. Rowling's journey is also a mirror for our own struggles. How many times have you thought about quitting after rejection? How many times have you felt like your dream was pointless, like no one believed in you? Rowling faced all of that. She was rejected 12 times. She was broke. She was alone. And yet she kept going. Her story proves that failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. Without those 12 rejections, she would never have reached the 13th yes that changed everything. Without her years of poverty, she might not have created a story so deeply rooted in hope, friendship, and perseverance. The very things that almost broke her became the foundation of her empire. Now, let's talk about you. You may not be writing the next Harry Potter, but maybe you have a dream, a project, or a goal that feels impossible right now. Maybe you're struggling with money. Maybe you've heard no too many times. Maybe you've been told to be realistic, to settle, to stop dreaming. But remember this, J.K. Rowling started with nothing but an idea, some paper, and the determination not to quit. She didn't know her story would reach the entire world. She didn't know it would make her a billionaire. She only knew she had to keep writing. So here's the question. What is your Harry Potter? What is the idea, the skill, or the dream that you've been holding back because life feels too hard? Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's a book. Maybe it's a talent you've been ignoring. Whatever it is, Rowling's story proves that small beginnings can grow into empires. Don't underestimate what you can do with what you have right now. Rowling had no money, no connections, and no support. Yet she built one of the greatest financial success stories of all time. And she did it not by chasing money, but by pursuing passion with discipline and resilience. Your greatest wealth is not in your bank account today. Your greatest wealth is in your potential, in your ability to create, to persist, and to believe when others don't. Rowling turned her lowest moment into the foundation of her empire. You can too. So the next time you think about giving up, remember this. The world's most famous author was rejected 12 times. She lived in poverty. She battled depression. And yet she refused to quit. The 13th try changed everything. If J.K. Rowling could rise from poverty to billions, what is stopping you from writing your own story? If this story inspired you, subscribe to the channel, because in the next video, we will uncover another hidden financial lesson from the life of a remarkable figure who turned failure into fortune.